What's up, gamers? This is NGG here with another review video. This time it is for Life is Strange True Colors. This is a Nintendo Switch copy, obviously, so it's going to be a review for the Nintendo Switch. This is going to be a very spoiler heavy review. I can't review this game without it being super spoiler heavy, so I will say that if you do not want to be spoiled on the game, this is not going to be the review for you. Usually I do spoiler free reviews, but this one I can't figure out how to review it without it being super spoiler heavy. So if that is not something you are interested in hearing about spoilers, I would suggest watching a different review. Alright guys, so let's get into the story of Life is Strange. So you are Alex, the main protagonist in this game, and you come from like this group home environment. They don't start you off with the backstory. You have to learn that later on in the game. But you're in this group home, and your brother has finally found you. I think you just turned 18, so you don't have to be in a group home anymore. Your brother has found you. He has now asked you to come live with him. So you're now going to go live with your brother in this Haven Valley town. I think it's in Colorado Springs, if I'm not mistaken. And so you're going to go live with your brother, and you get there from the bus trip, and he greets you, and there's not much like things that are happening. A lot of it is you're watching the story as it plays. You're picking what you want to pick in terms of like they say, the first thing is you either give your brother a handshake to say hello, or you hug him. And these will formulate what happens later on in life, how close your friendships or bonds are, and like what different choices you make affect the story. You are going through this town, you're going through the story shops. Your brother has this girlfriend who has a son. So you're like seeing your brother like create a new life for himself, because he also was in like juvie, and like he was not a good kid growing up, because you guys had a like terrible a terrible childhood. So you guys were both in and out, like Alex herself was in and out of group homes and in other people's homes. Like she never got adopted. She was fostered but never adopted, and always brought back to the group home. So there are a lot of things going on with Alex. And then in the interview process, like the interviewer's like, are you going to tell your brother about what's going on? And what's going on with Alex is that she has this power, and it is an extreme power of empathy. So like she can feel what everybody else is feeling. If they're really strong emotions, she could force herself to feel it if they're just regular emotions, but if they're really strong emotions, they will overpower you and take over you. Like there is this one scene where this guy thinks you're sleeping with his girlfriend, not Alex but his brother, and he starts wailing on his brother, and Alex was like getting his energy, his anger, his frustration, and she starts wailing at the guy. So like Alex gets in trouble a lot in the past for her emotions that are from other people getting to her and forcing her to act. So that is like the story. Alex is trying to start a new life. She doesn't want anybody in this town to know. Unfortunately, that incident like with her brother and that guy forces her to have to tell her brother, which she did not want to do. She wanted nobody to know about her life and what her powers were. She wanted to start a new life. So that's the story. Now in gameplay, you are walking around the town, you're going into different shops, talking to people, also making interactions, and like you could either choose to do something or choose not to even touch it. Like these choices matter how little they are. Like there was one time where I didn't go upstairs and like weed the plants, and that actually mattered for later on in life in the story. And like how was I to know that was gonna matter? But I'm saying like things like that matter in the story. Like little things that you wouldn't think would matter. And then there are these big choices, and you'll know it's a big choice. when it comes up, because it'll give you a couple of seconds to figure out which one. The other ones are real quick choices. And I'll talk about it in controls, but I set it so that I had time to pick. But yeah, so you're walking around this town. There is a quote unquote little RPG scene that happens in the game, which is super adorable and super cute. And because Alex can feel what the kid in the game is feeling, she can see that he visualizes the world where they're doing a LARP, a live action role playing. He is actually visualizing it like if he's in the world of the role-playing game. So it's super cute, it's super adorable in that way. In gameplay also, there is these buttons where you press the minus button and you can see Alex's phone, and in Alex's phone it'll give you more of the story inside, where you'll see it's like Facebook, but their version of Facebook, where you can not you specifically are interacting, but Alex is already interacting organically, but you can get more of the story in that in the phone. Like, you're seeing your text messages to each other, the fake MySpace thing, like I forget the name of it. I'll show you what it is, and all of that's happening in the gameplay. So it's super nice that they include extra stuff if you want to get more involved in the storyline. That there are extra things in when you're playing your game. I also experienced long loading times in this game. So from entering and exiting buildings, there's a long loading time. That's not fun. So there was that as well. It is a very short game. I think it took less than 10 hours to beat this game. 5 chapters is as much as I know that it has. I don't know if it had more, if I would have picked different choices. I'm not going back to replay this game. I feel like I got the story. I got enough of what was going on that I don't feel the need to repeat the story. But yeah, it was super interesting, super fun. Let's talk about controls now. So in the very beginning of the game, you can set your controls up a certain way, and I did. Like, I put it so that my choices are slow, just because I'm a slow reader. I wanted to have time to react, and I'm pretty sure that ruined a part of the story where you're supposed to have a quick reaction time. But because I'm a slow reader, I didn't want to have that quick reaction time that I knew I wasn't gonna have, because I couldn't read it. It would have just picked anything. So I set it so that I would have that reaction time. And there are various other things you can do in controls, but that's all in the very beginning of the game. They let you set up the controls. In fact, because for some reason I've been reading a lot of visual novel books, and this one had a lot of reading in it too, my eyesight was starting to like get fuzzy, and I changed the text and it became clearer. So like things like that you can do in the controls to fix the game, cater to yourself. I think it even has a colorblind mode. Like, it has a lot of accessibility things, which I appreciate in gaming. Like, not a lot of people care to do that, and it was super nice that that was included. All right, let's get to the rating. So the rating of this game, this is my first kind of game like this, where it's mostly a choose your like story, where it's a lot of CGI and a lot of talking to you. So I'm gonna say, for this kind of game, I really appreciated it. There was not a lot of movement, and when there was movement, I was stuck. So I'm gonna say I give it a 4. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great in my opinion, because it was short, and I think because of the shortness, and like I did have some control issues where I didn't know how to run, so I was walking super slow throughout the game for the first half of the game until I figured out what the run button was, and I don't think they showed you what the run button was, so that was a little annoying as well. So for that, I give it a 4. It's just a solid 4. It's not bad. I think 4 is beyond middle point, but it's not like a 5. It wasn't a perfect game. It did have a few moments where the game stuttered, long load screen time, so like all those little things contribute to that. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I know it was a very spoiler heavy review. I tried to keep it a lot less spoiler heavy, but I didn't want to get into too much of the story where you would not be able to play it because you heard my review. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy gaming. Bye.